Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud. And this is the Challenge USA Episode 4 recap. First of all, I have written Revenge on X. Xavier, one of the coolest names, I gotta say. I think I knew an Xavier, at least my little brother's friend was Xavier. I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. That's like gargoyles. And he's like, what? Because he was quite young at the time. But all this stuff with the big brother where they are out for revenge, right? Because we already saw them, they're like, hey, let's get, Tiffany can go as well, And so it's like, it's very personal within Big Brother, I guess, was it the case in the regular seasons with Casey, Josh, and, oh my God, I forgot his name. Oh my gosh. Fessy. They were tight knit, yet they did clash. So I don't know. Maybe Big Brother, they just don't have the stuff to stay together. I mean, from what I can tell, they really are still hurting from that betrayal. And I'd never actually seen the show, the whole thing. I just saw glimpses. I saw some episodes, But really, it's like spoilers, they're going to get rid of Xavier, despite him being a pretty good number in their alliance. They're just like, we don't care. We don't like him. We don't trust him. Same with Tiffany. So, there you go. Falling off the knowledge, the trivia thing. TJ, what does he say? He's like, the no ledge, and they're like, gross, TJ, no. And he's like, I didn't write that. So I'm thinking, it was called falling off the knowledge. Do people tell TJ what to say? Like the what do you call it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. But like, he should have just said, hey, this is falling off the knowledge, right? And that's it. Unless they wrote down, and then make sure to say, it's almost like the no ledge. And maybe TJ, that was improv. He was like, hey man, no ledge. And then he saw that people hated it. And they're like, oh my God, stick to biking. And he's like, I didn't write it. I got people in the back, the kids in the hall, shit like that. So, I don't know. That was a little weird. That was a weird moment. TJ continues to have those. But, okay, so this is a trivia mission. I usually very, very dislike the trivia things because TJ takes these moments for him to like laugh like a fucking maniac and stick out his tongue and shit like that. But that's not the worst part. The bad part is that it's not fair. Like, you'll never see any trivia shows present things like this way, where it's like, hey, here's a very simple question, and then the next person will get like a very complex question. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always spread out evenly at all. In fact, it seems downright biased sometimes. So with this, it's they've improved it. You have multiple answers. They're like, hey, name all the planets. No, that wasn't a question, but you get what I'm saying. You only have 9 to 8 answers. Ooh, that'd be a tricky one, because what if they're like, oh, Pluto, and then Dominic's like, it's not a Pluto, it's not a fucking planet. It's it's a fucking fish. It's not an animal. Yeah, so that's a vast improvement. Like, I was able to kind of get through this just a little bit better than usual because it was properly done. They fixed the trivia problem. Who knows if they continue with this or not. You'll have losers rounds and you'll have winners rounds. Overall, it's David and Justine, both Love Island people, going into the losers round. Kyland and Alyssa, both Big Brother, win for this one. But in between those, I have a few things. Dominic, that's of course is where he's like, what was the question? Name the top 10 heaviest animals. No, heaviest animals, right? And their name, and like elephant and shit like that. And then someone says the great white shark, and that's when Dominic's like, it's not an animal. And he's just so fucking sure of himself, you know? It's like, Dominic is one of the most annoying guys so far. I don't know how he was on the Survivor Island, you know? But damn, I mean, that if that was a chick, I'd be like, oh shit, please, algorithm, don't put me with fucking Dominic, that fucking know-it-all. Next we have Sarah and Derek. Oh yeah, fucking Sarah the cop, you know, and my fucking cap. But their question is, name all the women who have portrayed Catwoman, right? And Derek's like, I don't fucking know. And neither does Sarah. But Sarah gets so pissed off that Derek doesn't know who Catwoman is that she's like, get away from me. You know, like not out loud to his face or anything, but she's just like going off in confessions and stuff. And it's like, intelligence doesn't mean you should know who played Catwoman. I mean, those are, you know, it's a dumb movie. Okay. And you didn't know it either, lady. And also, I was like, okay, well, what's the joke here? She's a cop, right? She really wanted to know who Catwoman was, because she's like, I've been trying to track that cat burglar for years, and you let me down. You were supposed to be an informant, or something like that. And then next, the final thing I have is that Danny, once again, 4-0 now, mentions his wife. Now, I gotta meet this person. Was she from Survivor or something? Like, can it be validated, or whatever, that his wife is fucking awesome? I don't know. I gotta see this wife now. See, that's the thing. Don't do that. Sometimes guys will be like, man, my fucking wife's awesome. She does this and that. And then the other guy's like, oh yeah, well, maybe I should take a look at this wife. Steal her away. Anyways, moving on. And I mentioned this, though, I mean, about Danny, it is actually nice. It's just that, you know, if you're fucking single, you're like, yeah, fucking, you know, misery loves company, and I'm fucking miserable as hell and shit like that. I'm actually not that miserable, but I do not have a recurrent relationship, so it's enough. It's enough. Next, we have the house where Kyland and Alyssa talk with X. Right away, they're like, hey, we were thinking, you know, we're not necessarily on the same page or whatever, and should we do it, or something like that, right? But right away, X is like unapologetic, you know? Like in the confessions, he says, like, I moved on, right? Well, yeah, you can move on the same way Bananas moved on after he took Sarah's money, you know? It's the same sort of thing for now in my head, where I'm like, no, I mean, he clearly has the money, and he'll say that too. He's like, I'm still rich, y'all broke because y'all stupid and shit like that. But I do kind of want to see just how bad he was. Maybe he really did have it coming, I'm not sure, but either way, he does say, he's like, well, okay, if you put me in elimination, I'm just going to come back and I'm gunning for you, straight up, you know? And I think this is when Kylan's like, oh shit, all right, well, Ike was kind of toying this idea in my head, and all of a sudden Alyssa's down for it, so maybe we should make that move. And really, X was, like I said, not very like, hey, we can work together, you know. He didn't try and say like, we can go on and defeat Survivor, and then we could get on with this fucking revenge stuff, you know. Like but he didn't. He was just very like, well, put me in, I'm coming back and raising hell. Like everyone says, it's the kiss of death. It's the black spot. It's a harbinger of words when you're saying, like, when I come back, I'm raising hell. It's a death sentence. So many people say that before or during an elimination in confessionals, you know? And how often do they actually come back? I ask you that. Next, I have Deliberation with the Love Island people. Jasmine, Justine says she just doesn't want to go against Cinco, and so they're Kylan and Alyssa are like, how about X and Shan? You know, and and they seem to be fine with it. You know, they tell Tyson. Tyson in confessional is like, "Holy shit, you're doing my job for me. You are getting rid of your own guys. This is the ultimate. You know, this is the game within the game within the game. You know." And then they tell Angela. Angela is like, "Okay, but I say we pin it on Shan, as in like." You know, she's such a loose cannon. We had to take a shot at her. You know, like that. It's almost her fault that we put in X, right? Which I was like, oh shit, that's nice. That's a nice little strategic thing. Even though some people see through it, I think Shan is like, oh shit, you don't have a theme song. Smash in, puzzle out. Okay, so this is the elimination. Right away, Derek, when he gets there, he's like looking at Alyssa. He's like, "No, don't do it. This is X's wheelhouse. You know, he's gonna fucking, you know, he's great at puzzles and stuff like that." And smashing glass ceilings. In this case, glass walls. So you have to like smash, but they're color coded. So you and your partner have to take turns. If not, it's 10-second wait for each pane of glass. Justin and David defeat X and Shan. That's right. Right when X is called in there, he was like, "Oh, Kylan. Oh, he's so legitimately disappointed in him, you know." He's like, "Do you guys want to get? Do you guys want to win, or do you want to get even?" You know, he's like, "That's the difference between us and shit like that." But I'm like, dude, the difference between you guys was that alliance. It was. I don't know. It's weird. 50 was a 10-second penalty for Justine and David, 50-second penalty for X and Sean. Yeah, X and Shane, lose, right? It's too bad. I was really interested in both those guys actually, and I do think overall, in terms of like competitiveness, politically wise, I suppose those would be enemies. Yeah, and that's all I have. It was a good solid episode. I'm recording this, I don't know, a few hours before episode 5 airs. It gets posted on Paramount Plus. But I'm liking the show. I really feel like X and Sean leaving will kind of lessen the tensions in the house. Now it might just be Survivor just bulldozing through Big Brother now, you know. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.